where they are supposed to be, and then the government helps in their feeding and other administrative support. So we are sure, we are aware about this, and we are prepared to take them back to their original states, whether it is Adama, Yobe, or Borno, and put them back with their parents and in their villages.
Okay, Manu.
Sir, the recent crackdown on the Shiites in Zaria has drawn a lot of concerns by commentators, including just yesterday the Borno Elders Forum, who are saying, look, if this is not well managed, it could lead to another problem. They are actually saying that there are similarities between what is happening or what happened in Zaria and what happened much earlier with the Boko Haram insurgency, Mohammed Yusuf, and all of that narrative. And there's been this quiet from your end about the whole matter. And of course, the people of Zaria, a lot of them are sort of fed up with the conduct of the Shiites, who they felt were like a government within a government. But many, like the human rights groups, are saying that, look, this is an overkill. So many people killed over an incident of right of way. I don't know what you will have to say to the concerns being raised about this issue.
Let Mr. President answer that. Yeah, Mr. President, please go ahead.
Yeah, well, certainly I know something about it. I ought to. In fact, I must know something about it. When it happened, I was in touch with the governor of Kaduna State. You know, it happened in one state, in one of the 36 states. Interestingly, the president of Iran spoke to me about it. But I told him that as a government, we have a system. This accident happened in one of the cities. The governor has physically visited the area. We have a system of investigation. The military that was involved, too, has a tradition of investigation. And I, as the head of federal government, I have to wait for the official report before I can come out as head of the government, federal government, and make a statement. So I'm allowing the army and the Kaduna State government to submit their own reports of inquiry. Meanwhile, it doesn't mean that the police, the SSS, that are not directly involved, are not doing their own part of constitutional role of finding out really what actually happened.
So that means there would be the inquiry that some are calling for, a federal inquiry into the matter, because they are saying that some of these officers are involved. I mean, you can't ask the police maybe to investigate the army and all of that.
No, there's no way I can ask the police to investigate the army. I think that will be a misnomer. It wouldn't even happen the other way around. But all I know is that whether it is the police, the military, the civil authorities, whether an incident where lives were lost and property, there is a standard way of investigation. Depending on how serious it is, if it is very serious, a judicial inquiry may be the most acceptable thing for the society. And then people from all directions were asked to come and give evidence. You know.
So, Mr. President, how serious do you think this is for the nation in terms of our security and the future of the potential future that this will portend for us?
No, it's unfortunate and extremely serious. How can any group will create a state within a state? I don't want to speak about it in detail now. I better leave it until I receive the inquiries. But there are a number of clips I saw where some excited teenagers were virtually hitting the chests of generals, you know, putting roadblocks, burning vehicles, and pelting them with missiles. How
do you feel infuriated?
Very much so. But I realize my position. I'm now a sitting duck.
Okay, but having said that, Mr. President, but do you think it is justifiable? Because in the media, we also saw in social media and traditional media a number of images of young people that were shot dead, and some of them, you just wonder. The number of deaths seem to be quite worrying.
No, you can't justify casualties on that scale. You can't justify it. But to be fair to both sides, you have to wait for the inquiry, and then you tell the public. A lot of them, you tell them what they know. For example, I understand people from the neighborhood in Zaria gave a press briefing in Kaduna, isn't it?
Yes, they did.
About 2 or 3 days ago. They called the press and they told them what agony they were going through in the last 5, 10 years, 15 years.
So for you, Mr. President, just to wrap this up very quickly then, who would you be expecting this report from in terms of inquiries? One, a lot of people expect that the federal government will have an independent inquiry. The soldiers who were said to have been attacked cannot do an inquiry that will be deemed as fair and balanced. The police, who's part of the security agencies of Nigeria, will not be expected to carry out an inquiry that civil society would accept as fair and balanced. Civil society as well might be deemed as maybe a bit partial and emotive about it. So where is the federal government's inquiry coming from?
I expect a sort of judicial inquiry by Kaduna State government, because it happened in Kaduna, in one of the cities, and it has been there for the last 20 years, from what I've been reading from your papers, for about 20 years. And they will occupy a federal highway, sometimes from Kano to Kaduna. This is what I heard, and fortunately for me, I have never been, in that mess. But a number of people that talk to me, for example, from Jaji to Kaduna, it will take them 2.5 hours or so. And then there were all sorts of allegations, which I would rather wait for the report.
Okay, so sorry, we just have to move this very quickly because it's there. But yes, you will take the last question on security, and then we'll move on to the next subject very quickly.
Mr. President, you have said that the war on Boko Haram has been technically won, and the Minister for Information also said the same thing. But on Sunday, these people unleashed terror. Borno and Adamawa. Massive people were being killed, and they're still trying to combat, use suicide bombers and the rest. Can you conveniently and truthfully say that this war, whether technically or otherwise, is being won?
Yes, when I said the war was technically being won, I mentioned why. I said their capacity to conventionally attack institutions, whether it is police posts, barracks, as they used to, including Maiduguri, as you know, has been stopped. But their use of IEDs, improbable explosive device, has assumed a proportion that is virtually over the government, in the sense that they get girls 15 years and below in hijab and wrap them up, with explosive. Even the day before yesterday, I think they did it in Yola, in Maiduguri, and somewhere, and killed about 100 people.
In that case, some countries have banned the use of hijab, who are also fighting insurgency or terrorists. Do you intend to go that way? Because if people wear those things and package bombs and kill innocent, so many people, then it calls for concern.
If you go to Maiduguri, you will find out that in motor parks, sometimes in the market, they put people in strategic places with these detectors. They are doing that.
So banning hijab is not an option?
No, banning hijab is not enough, but hijab will have to be banned. If this continues, it has to be done because it's the safety of people generally. Because the indoctrination they go through to kill themselves, because that's the ultimate. If people don't mind losing their life, that's extremely serious.
Okay.
What you said, Mr. President, in fact, more and more of the time recently, we've found out that it's basically girls who are the suicide because of that the cover they have the cover, so that's why they are using more of them.
Okay.
So you may have to really consider it urgently. What I wanted to say was to add to what he said about the potential danger among the Shiites. Even as the investigation is going on, sir, is there some kind of intelligence in their community to even look further into their way of life and what, who knows what is going on?
What has been happening is unacceptable. I have just mentioned that I understand in the people of Kaduna State, especially Zaria, where their headquarters, they went, they briefed the press about 2 or 3 days ago. And they give a full briefing of what they have been going through in the last 20 years. In the last 20 years. And if you go into a record, you find out what happened. You are in Babangida's administration.